Welcome back to Three B's on a Mission. We're three women speaking our unfiltered truths and sharing divine feminine wisdom. Today's going to be a little different than the podcast that we've had in the past. And that's because our planning process behind the scenes. Usually I prep some things, we go back and forth with each other. We all know what we're going to be talking about long before the day comes where we actually have to hit the record button. But for whatever reason this week, God spirit was telling me no. Nope. Nope. Everything that I had planned, they kept just telling me no. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. And so
Mm,
in their timing, of course, they waited until the very last minute to then show me what we were going to talk about. And I understand why they did because it's not my favorite topic. They probably knew I would resist it the whole time. So, but anyways, we're going to take a little
perfect.
different format today. I have a story, which I believe is a channeled message to share that's was for me, but they also say that I need to share it with all of you because it's going to be a message that will resonate for some of you and it'll be relevant. And so, okay, guys, do we want to do like maybe a short grounding first? Like any affirmations y'all want to share before we get it? Oh, the dragon is already getting it. Okay, I'm glad that you're in it with this.
A good dream. So again, I don't dream, and now
Yep.
I've started to dream. So I'm
Oh
I'm in
yeah.
the
Yeah, you are. I mean,
I'm in the
say, look at, I think this is part of your come up. I think you're starting to, have a come up here. I've told you this is happening for
well,
you.
some was coming up, but
Well, yeah. I mean, at least it's not crows this time. Okay. All right. I'm just not going
not
there.
crows to the face, not crows to the
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
How about you, Tali? You
So
dreaming these days?
It's gotta be a real good dream for me to remember any of it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't feel like I am right
Yep.
now. Sometimes I will, depending on how well I slept,
yeah,
I guess.
I
So,
again I didn't at all until I
yeah.
just literally just started like the last 3 nights. Like yeah, and you're remembering them all. So
Yeah.
amazing.
So
My flying dream was good.
yeah, I used to always be a dreamer. Like I would always dream. I wouldn't necessarily remember all of it, but I remember parts of it. And since this summer, I stopped dreaming completely. I don't even know why, but like now I don't dream at all. There's got to be a reason for that, but I just don't right now. I'm just trusting that I'm not supposed to. And I have enough like daydreams, visions, downloads, whatever you
Yep.
want to call them during waking hours. I can take the night off, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's what Cam would tell me all the time because, I would talk to Cam about a lot of it. And he was like, Mom, it's because you literally live in a dream all day. You're
It's
just
true.
resting at night because everything you go through during the day is your nightmare. So you actually go to sleep and rest.
Just for reference, Cameron is your son. We've never said that before. So that's my baby nephew. And yeah, and the other thing that's been happening this week too, I've got a lot to share this week. So I'm hoping you guys can just rally with me, but is I'm being shown that Mary Magdalene is really significant specifically for me. And boy, oh, I didn't know a lot. I mean, I knew the basics about her. Boy, is she misunderstood. Holy cow. And so I'm learning about her as a high priestess and how she moved in the world. And they're really showing me like this is significant for you. You need to understand and embody the spirit of Mary Magdalene. And as I'm learning about her, I'm like, oh my gosh, the similarities are crazy. Like it's wild.
Wow. Wait, now that you said that, I started reading my book on Lilith. And what the hell? Now I'm dreaming. That's amazing.
Yeah.
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 So
There's something
you
going on with
embody
that.
that and
One of the things that I'm being shown is that they're showing me that this is becoming the era. They're calling it the era of the divine feminine. That there
okay.
is a healing, a rise, and an empowerment that is coming for divine feminine that has been dormant and that has been you know misunderstood and pushed down for centuries. And this is it. It'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds, and I'm certainly here for it.
I'm
I'm
for
here
it.
to
I'm for it.
I mean, listen, you're flying already,
Come play with
so
me. Come play with me. Exactly.
Tully's
Exactly.
like, "Oh my god, you guys are
What?
effing
I'm just a
nuts."
ball of she's a little black furry ball in
I'm
hers.
just listening.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, gee, you're in a different mood. You're not blazing people up today. You're not.
Nope.
You got a lighter energy. Look at already. This is starting to take shape for you.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your vibe today? What's your one word vibe?
Oh,
Either
I'm
of you.
flying. I mean,
You're flying. So your
Heck.
vibe
I'm
is
flying.
flying.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you mint
Yeah.
or
I would say accomplished. I did some laundry. I changed the sheets, so I'm feeling was up a little early.
Yeah, as soon as I got here, she was like, "Girl, I can't wait to get in my freshly laundered sheets."
there's
That
something
was
Mm.
about that
as
though.
soon as
Like,
I
isn't
got
there
Yeah,
here.
something
a
about
hot
that? Like, I love
shower.
that. I
Yes.
love that.
Yep.
That's like, you know what? That's self-care. I love that kind of thing. I love simple
Yep.
things like that,
And
you know?
snuggling with Judy.
Mr.
And Mr.
B.
B, he makes his appearance. Does he have a
Uh-huh.
mohawk today or not? I can't tell.
Yeah, he got a
Yeah, he
haircut.
does. Oh, I love
He
that,
got
Mr. B. You're so bad.
Mr. B.
I love that
Yeah,
he's
he is.
like the mascot of the
He's the
podcast. I love
mascot.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's just
Yeah,
chilling.
my house was filled with a whole group of tweens last night
Ooh, how fun.
for my daughter's sleepover party. No, they're all great kids. I can't say anything against them. They're
I would
all.
have come over and done hair and makeup or something.
Oh my gosh, I know I should have told you. Like they love that. Oh my god, they love
Damn.
that when Aunt Tolly comes and does all that stuff.
Listen, I'll come over just on a regular Friday night and do it.
She would love that. You know how girly she is. My god.
I
My
love
god.
it so
Okay.
much.
We'll just have to make a trip out there
Yeah,
because
you guys
I'm
I
should.
know, I
definitely
want to check it
I'm
out.
definitely
You should. It's the most beautiful time of the year, like now. And actually, even in I know it sounds bizarre, but like even in the wintertime, it's absolutely beautiful here. If you bundle
the
Gorgeous.
up and
last
you go
time,
outside, it's gorgeous.
remember?
Well,
I
no,
brought
you
a whole
brought a
blizzard
huge
with me.
snowstorm with you last time and got snowed in,
Jesus.
but
We were like,
normally,
"We've
I mean,
never seen this so bad." I was snowed in for the whole weekend, yeah.
and even
Really?
But
that,
I was
like
doing
even
it.
that, when you get
Although
snowed
that's
in here,
true.
it's
It's like,
kind of beautiful and serene because I have the fire going, and
Mhm.
usually we're baking something
love
or
it.
making something in the house and cuddled up and have movies or books or whatever. You don't have
Yep.
to do anything, go anywhere. It's like, hey, I'm here for it. Sometimes I need those kind of breaks. I look forward
Indeed.
to the winter time too, because then it's not so hectic. Okay, so anyways, we're really off topic. What's my vibe today? My vibe is I've really felt inspired this week. Just like I was saying, like I've been, doing a lot of research about Mary Magdalene and I've been doing, some other like creative art projects and things like that. And so this week has been really inspired for me, which is nice. It's different, but
Mhm.
also been a week of lessons and
Ooh,
um
yum. Love me some lessons.
yeah, I love those
Ooh,
too.
no.
Okay, so I guess that's a good segue. All right. So this is something that happened to me. It just seems like very mundane and usual stuff. I own a small farm and I have a handful of
Goats.
goats. Okay, so here's the thing I will say about goats. I've never had goats. I've never been on a farm. I've never had goats
Girl,
in
I
my
have
life, but
chickens. Right.
yeah, I won't have
Would
chickens.
I have ever had
Sorry, I'm not
chickens?
about that
No.
life. No. Yeah, no, I would never imagine you having any
Butt
kind of
nuggets.
animal to take care of.
She said, I'm not about that life.
I'm just saying. Okay. But okay. I have goats that I have to go out and take care of in the morning time. And I went out to the barn. It was normal. You go in, you have to clean out their pens and give them food and water and pets. And the thing that I've learned about goats, I didn't know ahead of time, but they're really social animals. They are like dogs. They love human interaction. They're very smart. They follow you everywhere. Everybody's like, oh, do you have to keep them penned up or whatever? No, I can literally let them out of the barn. And wherever I am, like across the 8.5 acres out here, they will follow me.
I
They
love
don't like
it.
to be without you. And they're funny. They're very silly, but boy, so this comes to my story. They are also very, very stubborn. If you're wanting them to do something or take an action that they don't want to take, yeah, it's like if Bridget were an
Me.
animal.
I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew that was
Yeah, if
coming.
you were, I mean, I'm surprised that your spirit animal isn't a goat, actually.
It's
I
so
mean, you're a
great.
Taurus, you're close to the Aries, right? Which is like the Rams, equally as stubborn. But
I've got a fainting goat on my leg.
those things are really sad, though. Have you ever seen one in real life? It's really kind of
Yes, I
sad.
have.
She's got one tattooed on her leg.
I have one
so.
tattooed on my leg.
I know you do. Don't you have two? I thought you had two tattooed on you.
Nope, I
No,
just have
just
one.
the
She's
one.
upside down.
I'm
She's just
finishing my
fainting.
sleeve, actually. I was going to tell you that too. Yeah, you should see the design that I have for the
Is it
sleeve.
awesome? Is it going to be awesome?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a few sittings, but, yeah, I
Very
just reached
cool.
out to the studio to get that scheduled, so that'll be happening for me in the next probably a couple of weeks.
How exciting.
I know. Okay, alright, back to the goats. I'm out taking care of things. One of, one of the goats, I'm actually pretty proud of this name. Her name is Goaty Hawn, Miss Hawn if you're nasty. And she is the big OG goat of the barn.
Love me some goaty.
She is probably, I mean, she's over 100 pounds. Like, she's got to be like, I don't know, maybe she's
Goaty.
125, something like that. Goody's very
She's
sweet.
thick.
Oh yeah, she's thick.
The God save
Yeah, she a
lives.
big girl. So, I mean, usually Goaty is really compliant. She does everything you ask her to do. She's very food motivated. As soon as I bring her grain in, she's about it, man. She'll come running from anywheres.
So
And
mean.
so,
Got it.
yeah, right. Yeah, basically, right? Snacks. So I'm going through the normal routine. I get her grain, I put it in her grain bucket, and she's standing outside of her pen and she's just looking at me. And I was like, Goaty, come on, come on. I got stuff to do today. Like, this is usually this whole process maybe takes 15 minutes. And that's doing the other set of goats too, the babies. She just looks at me. She's like, no. Then I was like, well, look, see, I've got your grains. Then I try to get her in with treats. That doesn't work. I'm trying to pet her and like try to get her to follow me. That doesn't work. I can feel my frustration rising. And so I am not somebody who easily frustrates. I mean, you guys can probably attest to this. I've got a pretty long
Mhm.
fuse. I don't usually lose it. I'm not
That's
somebody
what she
that
has us for.
yeah, exactly. I
Pop
don't
offs.
yeah, I'm not, but I'm not that way, am I? I'm not that.
Sisters.
No.
That's not my personality. All right. So I started getting really frustrated because I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with this goat? She just won't. And like, I've never seen this before. She just would not move. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, Goaty, I can't do this. And I grab a broom and I'm like, trying to like sweep toward her because she's terrified of the broom. So it scares her, but then she runs in the opposite direction. She's not going toward her pen. So I try to do that.
Mhm.
I'm like trying to like push her, but she's not going in there. And for anybody who's watching this, like I would never put my hands on an animal and harm them in any way. That so none of that happened, but it was just like trying to move her toward her pen. What is wrong? And I'm like going in and out of her pen. I'm like, there is just nothing in here. Like, what is her problem? She won't go in, right? So 20 minutes this goes on, right? 20 minutes, which is supposed to be the full time that I'm in the barn and out and on with my day, right?
Right.
It doesn't happen. For whatever reason that morning, this hit me like a ton of bricks. Okay. I got to the point of such frustration that I just lost it. I just lost it. I mean, it was every emotion. I felt anger and frustration. It was like, why can't I get this thing to just do what I need it to do? Then I just had a total meltdown. I just started bawling my eyes out. But what I did, I walked in her pen. I left the door open. She's standing right outside of the threshold of this pen. And I like go into her pen. My back is to her. I'm facing like the wall of the barn. And I just like literally like draped myself over the back of her pen and was just out of frustration, who knows, whatever for the day. Like I just like started like sobbing. And I was like that for like 5 minutes. And the entire time I could feel that she was watching me. I knew she was watching me from the threshold, from the gate. And I could sense that she was like, is she going to turn around and come after me and try to get me and pull me back in or try to give me treats or whatever? And I didn't. I never turned around. My feeling as I was having all these emotions was complete surrender. It was like, I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I don't have it in me anymore. I don't have it in me to try to fight with you, to try to coax you in, to try to get
Sure.
you into this
Mhm.
thing, to even look in
Yep.
your direction right now because I don't have it in me. You've exhausted everything in me, right? And so it was like that was my feeling as all these emotions are going through me. And I was back there for maybe I said about 5 minutes. And as I finally collected myself and was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll just let her wander in the barn the whole day. What do I care? What am I gonna do? There's nothing else I can do. I've done everything I can do. And as I was going to turn, I turned and I looked down and she was standing right by my side. She had come into the pen and she was standing right by
Aw.
my side and leaning against me. And I was
Because
like,
you let
oh
it go.
my God. And so then I just knelt
It
down
was her way
and
of giving you a hug,
exactly.
saying, I'm
It was the
sorry.
saying exactly. And so and that's exactly what I did. I knelt down and, I was giving her pets and I, was like rubbing her little face. And I was like, I'm so sorry that I got frustrated with you. I went on with my day and, shut her gate. And then she, went on to eating her breakfast like she normally would. Right.
Mhm.
And I came in the house And I felt like I had already had a day and I hadn't even started my day. And I was getting my coffee ready and I heard God say to me, and that is the lesson. And I was like, what's the lesson? It's like, what just happened out there? That's the lesson. And then he said, I want you to share this because there are other people that need to hear this too. And I said, okay. So the lesson here is that if there are things, these could be people, places, things that you have been manifesting or that you are hoping for or that you've been praying for or a change in your circumstance, maybe it's like some sort of abundance or maybe it's a relationship, maybe you're manifesting a new house or I don't know, happiness, whatever it is. And if you are trying to control that thing or things that you are asking, this message is for you. Is the divine is asking you to surrender it and to say, I believe that nothing that is meant for me will pass me by, and that whatever is intended to come into your life, you won't need to struggle with it, fight with it in, try to tempt it in, whatever it was that I was trying to do to get
Very
this
true.
goat into where I needed her to be. And the entire time, the reason, and I'm telling you, this was so out of character for this to happen. And then he says to me,
Mhm.
like jokingly, like, well, there was your lesson. I was trying to show you something. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, could you do it a little less frustrating? But
But did you have to do it
I
467
did
times?
not. No, I did not. And so, but that's the message. He wanted me to share that this is also going to resonate with some folks that may be watching. You've done everything you were supposed to do. For the whatever these things are that you are asking for, manifesting, believing in, all you need to do is believe that it is done. It is done and that the divine has heard you, that they do have your best interest in mind. These things will come to you when they're supposed to, but your job is to let go and to surrender and trust. And if you can't, the more you hold on to something, the more you stop up the energy for this thing to flow to you. And so, like we've talked about before, like being in a flow, you absolutely have to get out of your own way. And when
Mhm.
you do, just like my Goldie Hawn came in, it will come in when you are surrendered and you are not expecting this. I'm not fighting for this. I'm not putting any, expectations on, what I'm hoping or what I'm looking for. The divine knows. They know what they know what's best for you. They know when it's
100%.
best for you and they know how
Mhm.
to bring it to you. If you're out there trying to force those things or make those things happen, this message is for you. Listen, you are in good company because apparently there were things in my life and things that I was manifesting and looking at and hoping for that I needed to learn that lesson as well. Lesson learned. I don't need to spin the block as many times as G does. So I understood it and was like, okay, got you. Like, I
Cool.
I am now done with that. Phew.
You.
Yeah, so that was I'd rather not learn lessons that way, but apparently they have a sense of
Oh.
I'm telling
Mm.
you,
Mm.
sense of
Mm.
humor.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else with you guys before we go into the come up for this week?
No. No,
Okay.
I just,
Tolly, you good?
it's cool. You get
I'm
you get it
good.
with a goat. I get it with people. It's so good.
Yeah,
Woo.
listen, I think I'd rather get it with people. They seem to be a little more reasonable, or at least you could have a
Are they?
conversation. I don't know. I mean, goats are pretty
No.
pretty tough. I'm just gonna tell you.
Mr. Beast pissed.
Is he?
You didn't say him.
Okay.
He's the easiest.
He is the
Sorry.
easiest.
I
I
know.
love you,
But
He
Mr. B.
is. He is.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the come up for this week. Again, this is not the message that I wanted to have to talk about this week,
Mm.
and yet here we are, because they are insisting that this is what we need to talk about. So you need you guys to kind of jump in. This is probably the one that I would resist the most, because it has caused me the most wounding. And I would say, um, I am not completely healed fully in this because I can't. I can only do so much on my own. This will be the rest of this healing will be done with other people in my life to come, because you can't do it independently. And so the message of this is detached love and childhood wounds, and how you alchemize through the woundings that you may have experienced in love. Now listen, again, this is not something that is easy for me. Probably not for you either, G, but I don't know how much you've pressed into this. Tully, I think
All
your
the way in.
situation, all
All
the
the
way
way
in?
in.
Okay, all the way in, perfect. Tully, I think your situation is very different. You have a very, very loving family.
Yes.
Your family is amazing, and, like,
They're pretty cool.
I've experienced them and appreciated the hell out of them, especially in some of my darker times. They were absolutely there for me, and, so you're very blessed in that way. Sorry
Mhm.
that you have to sit through some of our trauma to talk about.
Never. Don't be sorry. You're my friends.
I also wanna say this, to start. It's really uncomfortable to talk about these things publicly, but God shows me that there are so many people that are in need of healing, around these topics, and
Mhm.
the only way that you start to heal is by talking about these things, and also bringing a different and new perspective. Because I'm going to be honest with you, probably between G and I, we have enough wounding and trauma in our lives that should have made
Mhm.
us the nastiest, most hurtful people in the world, and we aren't. And so that's the message. I think it will help, and even if it helps one person understand, you know what, I can overcome this situation. I don't have to stay stuck. I don't have
Yeah.
to live with my shadows in this way, that there is healing and there is light that can come from this. That's the reason we're sharing these things, is to bring a different perspective and maybe to help encourage people, that there is hope and that there is healing and there is light. Okay. I won't stall anymore. I'll get into this. And G, I know you can jump in, and Tali, you can jump in where needed. But all right. Some of us, and I'm looking at G and I because we're sisters, so we shared the same family and upbringing. Before I get into this too, I want to say that, like, we do have a relationship with our parents. It's not like we're not in
Yeah.
relationship with our mom and dad, and we are. And I hate having to talk about this stuff because they may be even watching us talk about this, but I've been very open with them about some of these topics. They know, but it's not their fault. I want to say this right up front. Like, part
Mhm.
of you going through a radical healing and awakening is that you have to have forgiveness for the people that may have hurt you in your past, which could include your family, which could include your parents. And, you have to have forgiveness for them because, like in our parents' case, like, they didn't know any better. They were doing what they were trying to parent from a wounded place. They were being what they were shown. Like, they didn't know to do better, but
Mhm.
we do. So that's the difference. And the other thing is too is that, there may be some folks that are watching this that maybe you had bad relationships, in your family, and trauma in your family, and maybe with your parents specifically. And when you're called to kind of get to a place where, like, you forgive them, it's really about you. It's not about them. Because even if you
Yeah.
never hear, like, hey, I'm sorry that I hurt you, or I'm sorry I did that, or forgive me for doing this, that may never, ever, ever, ever come in your life. But you need to get to a place where it's like, I do it because I don't want to carry this. Like, I forgive you so that I release that. So this is about release. This is about you. This is not talking about the other people. It just happens to be some things that, you may have faced. So, okay. So I just want to say all of that. It's hard to say that. Obviously, we love our parents, because they're our parents and we respect them. The fact of the matter is that there was a lot of wounding that happened, but because of our healing and our awakening and transcending, that our families won't experience those wounds going forward. Those will be generational curses that are broken because they won't do that. Like, my
I
daughter
mean,
someday won't do
unfortunately,
that.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't that. I wasn't at this point raising my kids because my
Right.
kids, I was a teenager and I was literally still wounded and living
Yes,
in, the
that's
gutter
right.
monkey energy and all of that. So my kids did not grow up they grew up
With some of this wounding
trauma
passed on to
bonding
them
and
too.
100%,
Yeah,
a
I
hundred
know.
percent. And
I know. Yeah, I realize that. And I'm sorry that that was the case, but, you're going to see, like, why, that they too will face a time in their lives, if they already haven't, that they're going to have to go through this kind of transmuting of their pain. And
yeah.
dealing with some of that stuff too. Because like I said, if you don't know to do better, you won't. Like you'll just continue those
Mhm.
patterns. That's true for everybody, right? I'm thankful that like I am at a point where like my daughter won't go through that. Thank God. Yeah,
Yeah.
she won't.
Well, and I knew it. I knew it back then. The only thing I ever said to my kids when they were growing up was, I don't expect anything from you other than just be better than me.
Right.
That's all I would say to them because I
Yep.
knew I wasn't great. I knew I
Yeah.
was doing my best and I knew I
Yeah.
was working 3 jobs and raising them by myself, but
Yep.
I just whatever that meant to them. So be better
Right.
than me emotionally, mentally, financially, whatever it was.
Yep. Right.
That's all I could give them then.
Right. So it's a really good segue. Some of us have learned to love in survival mode, not in safety. We
Mhm,
confuse like detachment. So a lesson is about detached love. You confuse detachment for strength and like numbness for
mhm,
peace. But
mhm,
that's not really what those things are. So let's go back. We'll go back to the root, like why we learn detached love. When you grow up in chaos or in an environment that is unsafe, you adapt. What you'll
mhm.
start to do is you stop feeling deeply because feelings never feel safe. Because it's just not safe to
F
feel
those
things,
feelings.
right? And so
Yep.
you become the caretaker in those family
Mhm.
environments, you become the achiever, or you become the ghost in the room. You do anything to avoid the rejection or the pain that is associated with, that dynamic. I can tell you that I have been all three of these things. When I was young, now our parents will talk about how I would be concerned with their responsibilities when I was like a
Taxes,
small
the
child.
bill. Mhm.
Yeah, like their financial things. Like, why
Same.
was I worried
Yep.
about that?
And where
Like,
was I? Where was I?
I don't know, probably in the closet, like hiding in the closet,
Exactly.
usually
I
in the
was
dark.
I was literally in the dark in the closet in the
Yep.
back underneath the stairs. That's where I
Yep.
was. Like no lights, no anything. I
Yep.
was there.
Yep. And then, then I know that I became the achiever in life. Like, so it
Yep.
was like, all right, listen, I'm
And
just going to
then with
boss up.
me, wait, so you're the achiever, so then I'm the underachiever
Yep.
because I could never why can't you just be like your sister? Why can't you
Yeah.
just do what she does? You're a horrible person. Like
Yep.
you're horrible in comparison to her. Like you were the shining star. You were the one to do all of the good things and I was the darkness.
Until I was gay. So let's,
And then you got
let's,
gay. But
and then
but don't worry.
I gave you a break.
Did it?
Okay.
Because I
I
had the
mean,
biracial
well,
children. So,
yeah. Yeah.
as a teenager.
I
Come
mean, that's
on.
something
Come on.
like we haven't talked about that yet, but this is something interesting. I don't even know if Tolly knows this, but like when we got to be like of dating age, or like, I don't know if you remember this, G, like they sat us down in the kitchen. And again, like our
Mhm.
parents did not know any better. Okay. They are not the same people that we're talking about now. Like they are
Nope.
very loving and accepting of all peoples. And trust me, we have brought all peoples into our family. We represent
100%.
every
The
like
definition of diversity.
we have the definition of diversity.
Yeah.
We check every
Yep.
box in our family,
Big
okay?
time.
We literally
So,
do.
most families don't ever see the diversity we have brought to them. But
Most
you
of
know
them is mine.
why?
But
Do you know why? Because even when so we've talked a lot about like when you speak things out into the universe, whether they're positive or negative, the
Mhm.
universe hears it and they give you
Mhm.
exactly what you ask for. Our parents had a conversation with G and I when we were, coming of age. They literally sat us down at the table and they said, "Listen, we know that you're going to, start dating people, and we have two rules in our house. You don't date outside of your race and you don't date women." And so we did the Wonder Twin thing. And I was like, hey, I'll take girls
Oh,
if you take. I'm just saying,
I
okay,
got
but
you. I'll hold
that's what
down
they
I'll hold down.
said.
Yeah, they did.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
that
I
is
literally
You
got
absolutely.
choked
two
out with
defiant little shit.
but wait, do you remember the
Okay, but you
the
know what
first
the
one
thing
that I
was?
dated? That
Yeah.
wait, that was not of, white. Oh, were you at college then? No, I think you were still around. Do you remember mom choking me out with a phone cord? Like she put the like that really long phone cord around my neck. And then
Listen,
when that didn't work, she pushed me down the stairs.
yeah, I think I
Yeah,
do remember these
you
things.
bitch. Push me down this like yeah, you will not. And I was like,
Yeah,
Watch
I
this.
remember.
Imma have
Yeah,
3
I
babies.
remember.
Yeah,
But you
I
know what's
have
funny?
3 babies.
Okay, but you know what's weird about that? Okay, one is, like, they literally manifested what was coming their way, whether they knew it or not,
100%.
okay?
Mhm.
The second thing that I will say is that at that time, I was not even clearly I wasn't out at all, like, I wasn't dating women, I wasn't, like I didn't like, I hid that shit, like, I did not I mean, especially in our family,
Did
that
you
wasn't okay.
though? Like, girl, I
I
knew I
mean
knew that
I
for
I mean,
years.
but, like, they didn't, okay? You know what I mean? They
Right.
didn't know,
Right,
and,
right.
because that was completely unacceptable in our
It was
household, right?
taboo. Mm.
But you weren't dating anybody either. It was weird that they would say those
No.
things to us. It was almost like that was their fear. And it was like,
Mhm.
hey, you know what? Guess what? You're going to get a whole bunch of this now thrown at you
Yep,
because that was
yep.
truly who we were and who we were naturally attracted to, and that was
Yeah.
just like there was nothing wrong with that, but we were taught that there was. Again, I
Mhm.
will say my parents obviously have been taken on a very serious journey over the years because they had to face every single one of those things. And now if you sat and you met them and you talk to them, they are not those people anymore, but they
No.
had to learn the hard way. And unfortunately,
Mhm.
that brought trauma for us because of their fears and their prejudices and the things that, kept them bound by those things. But, anyways, okay. So, going back, so detached love is the armor that we build to keep ourselves from breaking. Over time, when you have that kind of shield up, it becomes a cage, right? That keeps you from feeling alive because you literally cage your heart, your person, because nothing can get close enough to you. Like you don't allow that. So like emotional detachment, isn't who you are. It's who you become to survive because it's so unsafe to let people love you. And I'll give you an example. This is one of the things, and there are many, but one of the things that made us feel unsafe as young kids, like our dad, understanding where he came from and, the things that he came up through now, like I actually have compassion for what he endured. He didn't know any better. Like he didn't know to do better. He just, like a lot of men, honestly, probably during that time period, they didn't know that, like, hey, what the way I roll is completely emotionally traumatic for people.
Mhm.
But he used to sit us down regularly and let us know what a burden we were to him.
And
We were young
because
kids.
he probably
He would tell us that if
got
it weren't
money,
right, if it weren't for us, that he would be
he would
like
be
he'd be a
rich.
millionaire. Like, and
Yep.
this was common. And so
Mhm.
you were made to listen and you're a kid. You know what that does to you as a kid? That terrifies you because that's not safe to have your parent tell
Oh,
you like,
no, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. I when him and mom used to argue, and he would always say, "Well, this is my house. Take your kids and get the fuck out."
yeah, that
And I
as
was
well.
very young then,
Yeah.
and I remember getting packed up and going to grandma's house,
Yep.
and so that I took into
Yep.
so I've owned 6 houses. I own them. Nobody I can't sit in
So
anybody else's house
Oh,
because
okay. So
if
this is where we're going, G. This is where we're
Yep.
going because, okay,
Oh, I
from a
know.
young age, right? So you're taught like there was no safety. So there was no safety in our house. And the thing is like our mom wasn't that way. Our mom wasn't as, she
Give you
was
the shirt off her
emotionally,
back.
right. She was emotionally unavailable because she had
Oh,
emotionally
yeah.
unavailable parents. So she didn't know, and she was
Mhm,
young. So there's a
mhm.
giant age gap between our parents, too, which I should say. She was younger. She was completely dependent on him. We didn't have a choice. She couldn't stand up for us if she wanted to because what was
But
she
that's
going to
the
do?
thing. But look at we became the utter opposite. We made it our mission to never, ever, ever depend on anybody, either one of us. We have
Exactly.
always,
But
always been the
okay.
provider, always been like, I've got my own. I've always had my own. I bought my own
Exactly.
house at 22 years old. Like, fuck
Yeah, I
out of
mean,
here.
same. Like let's see, I've owned one, two, three, four. I've owned 5 houses too. Like
Yep.
so we both, yeah, so we both grew up as hustlers, but there's wounding in that.
Yeah.
Let's okay, talk about like the awareness of this and recognizing the pattern. So, and again, like we're sharing our example of this. I am sure that there are folks that are listening to this that they're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, that happened to me." Like that
Yep.
or worse. And if that did, I'm so sorry. But, this is why we're sharing this stuff because we see you, we feel you, but we want you to know like
Learning
if
through
you're
our experiences too.
if you're stuck in this, like, this is how you're going to get out of it. You're going to have to, face some things, but on the other side of the healing, there's so much, beauty in this and freedom. Okay. So anyways, the awareness and recognizing the pattern of it. So what happens is that when you grow up in this, unsafe thing, and then you become your own, right? And you become emotionally detached, which is what happened to both of us. It didn't matter who we were with. What's really been a disservice, and I can speak to my life, is I realize in all the relationships that I've had, and friendships, relationships, partnerships, they only went so deep. They only went so deep because you can't get beyond that armor with me because it's unsafe. That is an unsafe zone. And I have to protect that because, okay. We'll get into the healing about it in a minute, because I've had to go through a lot of healing in this. Anyways, what happens is that you start to attract partners who mirror the distance or who are emotionally unattached, right?
Unavailable. They're emotionally
Exactly. So you
unavailable.
go, okay.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're doing this consciously. Like, I never was like, oh, hey, like, I meet people and I'm like, I wonder if they're emotionally unavailable. No, it's not how it happens. But there are like
Yep.
signals and cues that you're sending back and forth to each other that you realize, like, oh, yeah, this is a surface level person. Yeah, send it. That's cool. That's fine,
Yep.
My
because
favorite. Doing.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, you just want to have a good time and like this is certain. Send it.
Right.
Like, I'm
You
for it.
wanna not give a fuck? Come on over here and not give a fuck with me. Cool.
Listen,
We
I'm
can
gonna
do
be the
that.
funnest time you ever had, but don't let like
Right.
we aren't talking
Don't
about
talk about
anything.
no feelings and shit. Like, oh
Like,
God. Get
don't you
the
want like Tali? Are you shaking your head?
No.
Are you this way too? You're
I
like,
think
I
I've
don't know.
definitely. I think I've. I just don't want anybody in my space.
Okay, so there's that.
I'm just like, you know what? B and I've discussed it. We can't.
Oh, you and B,
We
you've made a
can't.
plan. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
nah, we're not doing that. B's like, I'm the only guy in your life,
We've
bro.
lived out our dating life.
Okay.
That's
Well,
set. The shelf life has
okay. Well, you know what,
expired.
Tali? I got news for you. You
Yeah.
may lay that plan for yourself,
You just put
and
that
then
out there.
you
Now
just
it's
put
just
that out
I'm
there
gonna
now,
come here
bro.
next weekend and like be like, who the hell is this? Who is this? Who's
Who's
this?
this dude?
Well, he just showed up at
I
my
love it.
door. He was delivering a
Oh,
package, and yeah, he sure was
Listen,
delivering a package.
I will tell you firsthand, like, you
Oh.
can
he's
lay
already
all the
looking. He's so
plans you
mad.
want, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, knock,
He's
knock,
so
knock
mad.
at the
Mm-hmm.
door, bro. And you're like, what
Where
is
the hell did
happening?
this come from?
Knock, knock, knock.
Go
The
away.
redwood.
The redwood.
Exactly. Hey,
So
you
silly.
think Taylor was looking for it either? I don't know, but hey, it
Oh.
landed. Boom. Okay. All right. So, okay. So back, we're getting off track, but okay.
Sorry.
So, all right. So you attract these emotionally unavailable people, right? Because
Mhm.
they have to mirror that distance.
But
And
that's where it's comfortable.
but what's sad is because you've caged yourself, is that there's always like, and I can talk about this. This is like my deepest desires in my little treasure chest that the spirit will help me dig up, was this level of connection and intimacy with a person that could really see me and like really know me and like understand me on a soul level. So you're not void of that. Like, I've always craved that kind of intimacy, but you pull back when it shows up. Then, like, as soon as it shows up, you're like, what? No. But
Get
I've
the
never really,
fuck out of
honestly, I
here.
will say I've had pieces of that show up. I've never had the fullness of that show up. And I think it's because like the universe knew like I couldn't handle it back then. Like, I could never handle that. My God, if that showed up at my door, I'd been like, no, see ya. No, I'm good. So
Mm.
I don't think that's why
Mhm.
it's ever showed up
Mhm.
like that. So
Meanwhile,
what
I'm
ends up
like,
happening? Yeah.
wait, oh no, you're breaking down walls.
Mm-hmm.
You're touching spot. I'm saying things that I would never ever say. Not like, not the typical like I love yous and none of that stuff. None of the surface level garbage. But just like I'm entirely too comfortable here telling you about like my childhood trauma. Like, what?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's really horrible. And if you're unhealed in it, you are going to literally tell it to go the hell away.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Well, and you're talking about specifically your divine counterpart journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
with your divine
Uh-huh.
counterpart. Yeah. Yeah. That journey will trigger uh
All
for
the
anybody who's
things.
on one, that will trigger the hell out of you. Um
Mhm.
because that is the person that can see all of you, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, no, thanks. Like, bye.
Mhm.
Usually there's
Yeah.
one of you in that connection that's like, nope, I'm out. Like, see ya, and that's what's supposed to happen. Now that I recognize in my life and my patterns is that you end up intellectualizing your love instead of experiencing it. I just realized, like, yeah, that's what I've done. Like, and remember when we were talking about a few weeks ago, we were talking about head versus heart. I've realized
Yep.
that a lot of my connections have been in the brain space and not in the heart space. That's why it's never really deeply hit, because it's just always been this idea of what love should feel like. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't felt love. I have, but it's not unguarded, and it's never at a vulnerable place where you can really experience it. And so, what happens is your nervous system confuses the calm in your life for boredom, because chaos
Mhm.
is what once felt like home for you. So, unless you're experiencing this chaos and that trauma and whatever, you're going to feel like something's wrong, because you're like, well,
Mhm.
wait a minute, shouldn't it be chaotic? And boy, oh boy, once I understood all of this, and I learned this about myself through, going through the deep healing that I've been through now, I understand why my first marriage was what it was and why it was with who it was, because that person represented total and complete chaos. And
Mhm.
I understood that, like, that for me felt like home when that was the furthest thing from healthy for either of us, right? And obviously the way that that ended up being awful, but that's why, because as long as there's chaos, then there's energy and there's flow, and you relate that to love, and it's like, no, 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 that's not love, that's disaster, waiting to happen. And
100%.
I know that's been the same for you, G, and all of your
Mhm.
relationships.
Yep. And that's
The
the
other
thing,
th-
like, I literally was until I got to the last one. But mine were always like long term. Like, I'd stick with it because I'm like,
oh,
no, I'm not a quitter.
same,
I'm not a
same. Like,
quitter.
we were raised to be loyal through the chaos and the craziness.
A
So it's like,
100%.
look at as
Yeah.
crazy and as like listen, like, if we had to base like romance, love, true love, whatever, on our family life, our parental relationship, what, they're still married after all these years. It's like, but that's what happened in our family. It was like, it didn't matter, like, you stayed married and it didn't matter. It was like,
Yep.
it could be a
Nope.
total dumpster
I'm like,
fire, but you were married, so cool,
yep.
and then if you weren't,
Yep.
then there was shade thrown at you, because it was like, "Well, wait a minute, like, you shouldn't be
Why won't anybody
divorced."
marry you? You shouldn't be. You got to settle down. You got to have a. Oh my God! Remember when I got my car? Like the last car I had gotten, and they still have that. They said, "Oh look, you did it without a man."
Yep.
What? I've done
Yeah.
Oh my
everything
god.
without a man. Just because
It's
I had a
always like,
man on my side
So
yeah.
stupid.
doesn't mean that they ever like. I've literally taken care
I'm
of
so
every
grossed
single
out.
man.
I did it without a man. Shut up.
Yeah.
And I could do it better than one too.
Yeah.
So be
Yeah.
quiet.
Just because I
Thank you.
had one on my
Mm.
side doesn't mean that they did anything. Because I promise you, every man I've been with, every, every single one I have been in a relationship with, none
Yeah.
of them, none of, and they will tell you. I was just
Mhm.
talking to my ex husband a few weeks ago because, my youngest was going through some more stuff or whatever. So we connected again. And literally, I got to see this man's perspective after 30 years,
Yeah.
and he actually felt the need to re-apologize to me about I never deserved anything that he did, and I was always something special, and like all of this, being that he was my husband. And like I got to actually hear, like, I sat in this man's head rent free for the last 30 years.
Mm.
And like the guilt, and he had to like feel the need to like bring up situations I wouldn't have even remembered to apologize for them. So I know the weight I carry. I know that what I bring into a relationship, I know what that all is. And but now that I know that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be the one to carry all the weight anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. It was interesting because you brought up my next point a while ago. So you were like, I don't need anybody to tell me like that surface level bullshit. I love you and love and whatever and whatever. Okay. So that's a wounding. And here's why. Because do you ever remember our parents, grandparents, anybody in our family verbally saying, I love you to you?
No,
Never did. They'd
ever.
write love so and so, love grandma and grandpa, love mom and dad,
Yep.
whatever in your cards for your birthday or whatever. Okay. When I was going through this deep healing, that was one of the things that was shown to me was you never heard the words I love you from your parents, your grandparents,
Nope.
or any family members your entire life. The very first time, and I don't even know that she knows this, she will now if she's watching, is the very first time I verbally heard the words, I love you, was when I was 17 years old. And they were from my best friend, Kelly, at the time. And I remember I was at her house. And for anybody who knew back in the day, Kelly and I were really, really close. We were ride or die together through high school, through college, after college, whatever. We lived together until I was like 29. I think it was like 29 going on 30. Like when I turned 30 was when we finally went on our own directions. Until then, like we were ride or die, like, oh, like wherever I was, Kelly was,
Yep.
whatever. And her family was a lot like yours, Tolly. She had this she had this very loving Italian family. Hi to Kelly if you're watching this. Um
Irish, not
well, yes,
Italian.
you're Irish, but yeah, I mean just like the
I was
vibe was
like,
similar.
Irish.
I know you're Irish.
Get it
And
right.
listen, the Italians and the Irish
Irish.
don't love each other back in the day either, so that's very funny. But anyways, but I'm saying like the vibe of her family was very similar,
Yeah.
very loving, very supportive. I remember being at her house once and like I was like going to leave like I normally was and she's like, "Hey." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love you." And I was like, "Okay." It's like
You don't know what to
it
do with
was
that. What?
well, and I was like, "Well, I love you too." And, like, I remember even she'll probably laugh when she hears this, like, her dad was a very loving little Italian guy. Her family became like my family. We were interchangeable. I was at her house, she was at our
Mhm.
house. I remember her dad one time because he's just a lovey guy, just hug me and, like, give you a kiss on the cheek and be like, "I love you, kid." Kind of like that sort of thing.
Aw.
I didn't remember that until I was going through all of this healing. And it's so weird because Kelly and I have started connecting again and she doesn't know this either. But she probably about a month or so ago, she sent me a message and she is actually going through a pretty significant, I think, spiritual awakening too. Again, she grew up Catholic, going to Catholic school, religious systems, that kind of thing. But now there's something happening with her too. She texts me a while ago. She goes, I just felt that I was supposed to let you know this. And this is something you need to hear. She said, you are being called to learn how to receive love. You don't receive love very well. And so, God wants you to know that like they're working on this with you. Like you need to learn to receive love. And I was like, son of a bitch. Yeah, I know. I got the message. Like, I get
That's
it. They're
awesome.
on me. But like, it's just amazing, like how that'll happen. So that for you, G, is why you don't value or you say, I don't value people who say that because it's just bullshit. No, you don't value it. It's because we never experienced that. That wasn't part of it for us. But when it comes and it's genuine and it's really heartfelt, like, my God, that'll just like blow you open. That'll just melt you. Like, and again, that's scary because you're wait a minute, what do I do with that? But so anyways, but you'll figure that out. But here's another vision, right? Spirit people love to take me out into fields. I don't know what it is. Maybe
Well,
because I live.
you used to as a kid, don't you remember? You
I
had your
did.
friends, Dilly and
I did.
Dally,
I did.
and
I
you'd be
used
out
to
there talking to
spend
them.
yeah, I was gonna say I used to spend a lot of alone time as a kid. I realized this too. And I still do that as an adult. Like when I have to probably like maybe it's an Aquarian thing too, Tolly. Like I need my space a lot of times where it's like
Yep.
if I gotta process something or I gotta think about something, like, dude, you gotta give me space for a minute. I need space. It's just
Oh,
the way that I
look at the cat.
process. I'm also being challenged with that.
Oh.
They're like, no, no. When we bring you somebody that is your equal, we want you to be able to process with them too. So you don't always just run away and do it on your own. But most of the time, like I do it on my own. So here's what they show me. So when love comes knocking in this detached love state, your wounded child wants to hide because your wounded
Mhm.
child's like, no, 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 this is not safe. We gotta get out of here. We're not safe. But your higher
Mhm.
self is always ready to answer. Your higher self is like, hey, that's love. Let's bring that in. You need some of that. You need that connection. But your wounded child is like, mm-mm, no, 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 we aren't opening that door.
No
And like,
thanks.
gee,
No,
they're
not
running and
safe.
hiding in the closet, you know? It's funny that you hid in the closet. I just would like to say that.
I
I think
know.
that's a little
I know. I know.
I think that's
I was
hilarious.
in the closet our entire childhood, and then
Yeah, so
you're
they
the
were
one who
probably
walked
like,
out of it?
yeah, right, exactly. I don't get it. Okay.
Okay.
But okay, so here's another vision that when I was going through this love wounding, that spirit likes to take me out into the middle of a field, and this one was heartbreaking, and they led me out and they were like, come on. And they led me out to like field, like wheat field, I don't know. And I see and they point, and then in the distance, there's this little blonde haired little girl, and she's out in the field, and she's got like her back turned, and they like motion me like, go see her. It's me as a kid. And they show me, you need to start to reparent and let her know that she's safe now. Like, you've got her back. She doesn't have to rely on an unsafe environment anymore. That no
Mhm.
matter what now, give her a hug and tell her that you now show up for her.
Yep.
Listen, as an empress, you don't let anything happen to your baby. And
Mhm.
so now you are the one that's responsible for defending her, providing a safe space, letting her know that those days are gone, that she is absolutely safe. Because once you do that, then you can start to heal those inner child wounds that'll come out. And also, I didn't get to have a lot of a childhood because I couldn't. How could you be a kid and be unsafe? You have to grow up really fast. You don't get to experience all those fun, loving things that you would normally as a kid. And so they
Mhm.
were like, this next chapter of your life is really going to be like, they show me this all the time. They're like, you've done enough.
Nostalgia?
Yeah, you've done enough. And this next chapter of your life is going to be led by your inner child, and is going to be led by being happy and loving and free and fun, and just things being like flow and effortless. And it's
Mhm.
not to say that I won't work and not going to work hard or whatever, but it's going to be a very different time of my life. And so that's terrifying to me, to be honest, because it's going to be so different. But I'm learning to sit with it. I'm learning to embrace it. I'm learning to have faith that that's not going to make me feel unsafe, and that God, the universe, is not going to bring people into my life to make me feel unsafe. It's not going to be
Mhm.
like that. It's going to be with people that are like-minded, and maybe even share some of the same woundings that they had to overcome too. They'll be like, listen, I see you. I get this. I was that too. And there's healing in that. But yeah, so again, another spirit person, a different spirit person too. They were different. I don't know who these people are,
Perfect.
but
All the spirit people.
It's
they never
okay.
introduced themselves, which I think is kind of rude. It's kind of rude. Like, just tell me who you are. Like, hey, I'm your
What's your
ancestor
name?
on your blah
Who
blah
your name
side.
is?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's
Tell
your
me
name
something
is?
about you. Okay. All right. So we've talked about all this trauma and everything. So now, okay, now comes the magic, the alchemy, turning pain into love and power. Like, how does that happen? Healing means starting to feel again, and not just understanding all of this, but actually starting to feel. So we'll talk about, the alchemy and like actually turning this pain into love and power. So, like, how do you not stay stuck in this, and how do you heal? So, healing really means feeling again. You have to start to feel to be able to heal, right? And it's not
Yum.
just an understanding of all of this. Yeah, remember those wounded divine feminine lists we talked about last week, G?
Mhm.
Hey, this is what
Yep.
I'm talking about. You're going to be rounding that
Phew.
block. But okay, but here's the thing. You really have to feel. You have to feel these emotions. You have to remember, you have to let that come up, let it be remembered,
Mhm.
and you have to feel them. And it sucks. I'm not going to lie. I mean, especially for those of us that have been armored and detached for so long, like, it sucks. And it's scary, but I promise you that you can make it. Like, you can do it. Like, if you just sit with that ache, without labeling it. Like it would come like waves for me. Okay. Like I'd be fine. And then all of a sudden it'd be like, oh my God, where is this
I'm
coming
sorry.
from?
I'm making lights flicker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're hitting
Yeah.
us.
Well,
You're literally hitting a nerve with me. Tally's looking now.
yeah.
I'm like,
I mean,
Yeah, it's a
it's gonna
nerve. I'm
happen.
sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
It,
what I try to do to work through it at this point is I try to be an observer to the emotion. I'm not the
yep.
emotion. I'm
Yep.
letting the emotion flow through me.
Yep.
And yeah, that
Yeah, and and even if you look at it, it's like emotions are they're temporary. They're like clouds. They come in, you feel it, they do their thing, and then they pass through, and then they'll come again. Mine would come in like waves, and they weren't gentle. Oh my gosh, they weren't gentle. And
no.
they still do. And I got to the point where it'd be so frustrating. I'd be like, how much more of this do I have to go through? Like it. There's no
Mhm.
timetable. It has to come through. But what I would experience is that every time that it would come through, whatever the pain was that would come through, I would feel so much like it would just kind of compile, like where I would start to feel freer on the other side, like lighter, like I wasn't carrying such a burden anymore. I didn't realize how heavy of a burden this all is to carry all the time because you just get
Yep.
used to that kind of load on top of everything else. A couple of things here that have always worked for me. And this is something I did as a kid and I didn't realize that I was doing it. Remember I said I would always be off in my own like little land or whatever. And so
I
like
would
art
know because I was off in the closet, so
well,
I
but
wouldn't know what you were
okay,
doing because I
yeah,
was closet surfing. I don't know.
yeah, but okay, but the thing that's common there is that you would go off and isolate is essentially
That
what would happen.
oh,
There's
every
nothing
time.
wrong in that. It's isolating,
Mhm.
hermit mode, whatever you want to call it, but that's
Yep.
essentially what you're doing. And I would process like that. But the one thing that was common for my entire life and still today and through this process was that music has always played a very big role in helping me to alchemize.
100%.
And why? Because music is frequency and energy. I didn't know that as a kid, but like my God, like
Mhm.
anything that I would get, like birthday money or money that I earned or whatever, it was always spent on music. Music, oh my God. I had well, back in the day, we're going to show our age, but every Walkman, boombox, CD player,
Yep.
burners. Oh my God.
Yep.
Listen, my highest form of love language for anybody who was in my life back then. So maybe I couldn't do all those things and I didn't let people in the way that I should have. But you knew, or you should have known, or maybe you didn't know, but I'm telling you now, if you're watching me, my highest form of love language was if I made you a mixtape or I burned you CDs or I made you music. If I did that
yup,
for
Yep.
you, bro, like we were
girl.
on a different level. Okay. Because I would invest so much in that because for me, that was so important because the music itself, and like it was like across the board. It wasn't even just in like one genre or another.
Mm-mm.
Was all different genres of music. Sometimes it was instrumental, sometimes it was about lyrics. It is so much
Yep.
still like that for me. And so my
Mhm.
healing this time, my God, that's what would bring the emotions in me. That is one thing that has always been able to reach me and to bring up those emotions. I would intentionally make myself healing playlists so that, whatever
The sad playlist.
I mean, sometimes, but sometimes it would be really heavy music and like that would
Mhm.
move me. There's no rhyme or reason. It was just if it
Yep.
would invoke an emotion in me, then I'd put it on my list because that was the idea was to try to get me to try to bring those
But
out so that
have you gone back now and listened to those songs that you know back then would bring you some emotion and actually listen to the lyrics now and heard them
no,
differently?
no, I
You should.
haven't done that. Yeah, I
You
probably
should.
should.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I so much believe that music is like otherworldly. The longer I mean, it just is. And I will say there are some artists that just channel the shit out of music. Let me just tell you because you listen to their songs and you're like, "What the fuck? This is otherworldly." The stuff that
Oh,
they're talking
100%.
about like
100%.
and
100%.
and like people would just listen to it. They're like, okay, and you're
Mhm.
like
They're just singing along and you're like, "Oh,
you
you
kidding
should
me?
probably
Like, I mean, but
hmm."
unless you have that experience, like, I have heard so many songs now that I'm like, "Oh my god, that is talking about some stuff that, like, I didn't believe in before, that I'm personally going through now," and, and then it's heartbreak all over again, and it was just but that's always been something, like, if you're going through this and, like, and music is important to you, like, I highly suggest, like, that music has been a big part of how I have been able to alchemize, pain into love and into power. And I also remember, and this is a promise that I made to myself from a very young age, and in having some of those woundings and like going off, like I spent a lot of time by myself in my room with music, usually with headphones on, because I didn't want to deal with any of that and I
Mhm.
didn't want to hear it. And you become a ghost, because then if you're small and you're a ghost and you're not a problem, then you're not going to get the backlash of that unsafety. And so I remember sitting with it, and I remember this has been a common theme for my whole life. My heart breaking, whatever would cause me that pain and heartbreak, and it's been relationships, it's been disappointments, it's been being unsafe, it's being lost, whatever. And every single time when it would start to come out, my mantra, and I didn't even know it was a mantra then, but it is a mantra that I have always held is like, how they say, hurt people. I would always be like, I I will never I will never inflict this pain on somebody else in life. My mantra became build people, heal people. And it was like, I will never be somebody that takes my pain and then, puts that on somebody else in life ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever, because they don't deserve it. And I don't deserve to do that to somebody. And so like I know better. So I do
But
better.
that's when you stay longer than you should, because
That has been a
it is
problem.
within
Yes.
us. It is
Yep.
within us that
Yep.
we are staying because we know that's going to hurt the other person, regardless of what they have done to us or how we are being torn down.
That's
We
correct.
will stay because of that. So you
Yeah.
have to fine tune that to
Yep.
say, I'm not intentionally hurting you, but
Yep.
yep,
Yep.
that all that.
Yeah. So
It's a
it's a really
fine
good point, G.
balance.
As I've been going through all this healing, and they're like, listen, the next stage of your life, you have to be able to create enough space to hold love, because we're bringing you up. I've been going through a lot of this, and this is stuff that I'm talking about. This is why I was like, I don't want to talk about this stuff, because this is stuff that is, probably the most fresh for me, because I'm in it. Like I'm in it. Like I'm going through it. It's not like, hey, I'm on the other side. I'm 5 years deep in
Mhm.
this. I can go back and look at, like, no, no. We want you to talk about it now because you're going through it now. So people will know that like this is real. And maybe they'll see the evolution as we're going through all of this, like how this evolves and what comes on the other end, and how I have to continue to work through it and hold it, and whatever that is. And so they're very specific, like, no, we want you want you to make this part of your journey, your come up now. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank
Well,
God that
like,
this is
okay, so again, we'll use me as an example because prior to healing anything, I
yep.
literally did this how many times over? I had an entire house in my own name that
Yeah.
I walked away from and gave to a man just to get away from it, and literally
100%.
left with the clothes on my back and my kids and their beds, and that was
Yep.
it. That was
Yep.
absolutely it. I left everything. I said, "You want it? You can have it." I materialistic shit doesn't matter to me. And I did that without even being healed. And what
Yep.
happened? I made it back 10 times over. And
Yep.
I kept doing it. And it kept, like, maybe not that exact situation, but every
Yep.
time I've walked away from something and taken that L, like literally, what happens? I come back bigger, stronger,
I believe
whatever,
that
every single time.
100%. 100%. And I'm not afraid of that. Yeah, it's never been a thing that I'm afraid of, because I know that intrinsically has happened in my own life. This is stuff that we were talking about, like one of our previous episodes. Sometimes you're going to be called as you go through this journey and you go through this walk and you go through this healing and you go through like
Uncomfortable
the
shit.
ascension.
You're going
Yeah,
to
they're
have
going
to
to
go
call.
through some uncomfortable
Yeah,
shit.
and release of people, places, and things, like, that's real. That's real. It's gonna happen, and it's not easy,
Mhm.
but usually if you do things in love and compassion and understanding, like, it's amazing how the the divine will work on your behalf to move those spaces for you. But then you're called, like in this case, to do the work they show you. It's like you have to heal these things, because in order to do this, for us to bring you more in line with what you're going to be and do and who you're going to be with and all those great things, like you have to have the space and you have to have the healing to be able to do that. That's why
Yep.
we're talking about it, apparently, because besides us going through it and sharing sharing our journey, like it's obviously important for those of you that may be listening, is to say, yeah, I get it. Like there might be a kind of stirring in you that's like, yeah, I know that this is speaking to me. I've had those things too. I don't want to carry this anymore. Yeah, I've had detached love. Yeah, I've never had somebody be very close to me and see me fully for who I am, because that's terrifying. And I've missed out on so many things in that, because that's a beautiful thing if you can get there. Again, this is about that flow. Love becomes power when you let it flow freely through you, not as a control or not as an attachment, but as energy that heals instead of harms. Like if you can get to a place where you're allowing it in, you're allowing it to flow through you in all different types of relationships. It doesn't even have to be romantic. It's in all of your relationships, friendships. You got to let that flow. You can't think that you can control it or detach. But that is how I have spent my entire life, very intentionally saying, like, I won't let my pain hurt somebody else. And in order to do that, I know I have to go through it and I have to feel it. And then I have to turn that into something that is going to be my power. The problem was is that I did it in past, like I had the right idea. I did it from a wounded space. It became about control and about, like you were saying, G, like, hey, I ran my empire. Like, nah, no, I am not accepting anything from anybody. I run my shit.
Yep.
You don't give to
You
me.
know I
I give
do.
it to you. And so that's like, I remember, I think I
Yep.
said last time, it was like the universe, the very first thing they did was like they took their arm and was like, okay, we're going to do a clearing now, because all of this is built on unsteady ground.
Yep.
You need to understand and learn that you don't build that way anymore. Like that's not how you
Mhm.
build. You build from a very stable place, which is this reciprocating of giving and receiving and love and compassion. And you don't detach, you don't run away, you don't overgive, you don't people please, you don't do any of these things anymore.
100%.
You do it from a very solid place where you know who you are, you know what you know your worth, you know what you're willing to accept and not accept. Like those are things you always should have. Like, those are healthy boundaries. Those are things that you are asked to have as a divine human. But it's also all of this too. This is the stuff that rounds it all out, where it's like, oh yeah, that stuff too.
That part.
So my alchemy mantra, besides like heal people, and I won't pass on my pain. I will make sure that it is healed so that I can then use that as healing and guidance for somebody else that needs that. And to show love and compassion to them. Beyond that, it's like I transmute my pain into compassion. My scars, and like if it would probably be heartbreaking. They've never shown it to me, thank God, because I don't know that I could take it. But like, my scars are my source of lifeness and strength. I haven't seen this in my mind's eye. Like, my God, if I could see my soul person and how many scars that I have on my soul, would probably be not pretty. Um, be like a mutant, but I guess there's beauty in that too. Anyway, okay. And once you alchemize, then it's like embodying that emotional power. So, like, true emotional power is being able to stay open in the face of fear. It's no longer needing others to validate your worth. You've become your own safe space. You've told your inner child, like, hey, you don't have to be afraid anymore, because, like hugging him in the field or whatever. And when you love with, some sort of awareness and not fear, then that's when love becomes medicine. It becomes medicine for you. It becomes medicine to other people, because they can feel that. Like, people will know that's genuine. Like, you come from a genuine place. Like, this is not, like we've said, like, this is not fake. Like, this is not fake. This is real stuff. And when it's real, love becomes medicine for people. They can feel that. They can feel that in your energy. They can feel that in your authenticity. They know you've been through some shit, but you've been able to work through it and rise. And that that helps other people do that too. It's like doing it for yourself, but then knowing like as you do that, that's going to have an impact on other
Yeah.
people. They need that too. They need you to be an inspiration to them to say, you don't have to stay like this. There's a different way. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe like our parents, they didn't know a different way, but we do now. We do better because we know better. For me, and for you, G, detached love was the lesson, but unconditional love for ourselves is the rise. That's what all of this is about now. Tally's like, you guys are like, I didn't know how absolutely fucked y'all were until we started
No
doing this
way.
podcast.
Oh way. I knew you were a long
Okay.
time ago. Don't worry about it. I'm just joking. I
Okay.
love you guys.
So it's not a surprise to you then. Perfect. That's awesome.
No,
Okay.
I love you guys. I'm just busting your chops.
That's awesome. That's okay. We like that. Okay. So the only other thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do our gutter monkey because why wouldn't we do gutter monkey? Because, who doesn't love gutter monkey? All right. So for the gutter monkey topic, okay. So for the gutter monkey segment this week, the topic is pick me's.
God, gross.
No, no.
Tell me about pick me's.
Mm-mm. Some of them hoes that got to do all the things, all the trends, all the.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, they do extra, extra, extra. Like they just make me like
It's not even good extra. It's bad.
So
we'll cry over some raggedy ass because they didn't pick them because they just wanted to be picked. They didn't give a shit by who. Just pick me.
Why didn't I get picked?
Oh my god!
why
They don't love me.
why do you
Ew.
think that that's a thing? Like why do you think
Low
people do that?
self-esteem.
They need the validation. Like
Okay.
they need the validation. Because they can't validate themselves. Oh my God, it's that chick. I told you that I told her she needed to validate herself and then she ghosted me for the rest of her life. That was a pick me bitch.
Yeah.
That bitch would, oh my God. Anybody in the, it didn't matter. It could be a homeless person on the side of the road, like literally had nothing, but why wouldn't you pick me? Why wouldn't you pick me? Oh my God. What?
Nope.
Sit down.
Okay.
Ugh.
So do you
That just gives
I
me.
know. Okay, but all right, but here's the thing that I was thinking about with pygmies. I agree. I think pygmies are like, man, bro, I don't know.
Gross.
So even in like my deepest wounding, I just never was like that. I was never like,
Mm-mm.
oh my God, pick me. Like, listen, if I got the vibe that like, hey, you weren't interested, like you didn't like me, you didn't whatever, I'd be like, okay,
I was the opposite.
bye.
I was the
I mean,
why did you pick me? Get away from me. What are you what?
right.
Like I would try to
Well,
keep pushing it away.
yeah, I had some of those too, where it was like, those were like Klingons, where you're like,
Mm.
yo,
Mm.
I can't make that happen for you, man. But yeah, like, I don't know, like, there's something about that though, where it's like,
No.
you gotta know that they've gotta get the signs where it's like, that person could give a shit less about you right now. They
Yep.
don't care.
No.
It's like so uncomfortable to watch it though. That
Yes.
these people will do anything to like
Mhm.
abandon themselves and like what the hell is that? That scares me to death because like I said, there's wounding, but I think pick-me's are like super wounded, okay?
Gross.
That's like a whole other level of wounded.
Mhm.
Like they don't care. Like they will just like sell their souls or something. I don't
Yep.
know. Where's that come from, man? Like, because whatever that is, like,
Never been
I do not ever, thankfully, I've never been that, but like, and I wouldn't.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I've been a pretty wounded person in my life, but like, I never was a pick me.
Hell no.
I didn't know if I was like, maybe that's just like deep, deep wounding or like that's a trend now. It's like, oh, you don't take no for an answer. Or I wasn't sure. So we all feel the same about pick me's. I don't know. Listen, if you're a pick me and you're chasing people, okay, listen. Do you think
Don't do
pick
that.
me's are self aware?
No.
Do you think that they
I
know
think
that
they
they're pick
lack
me's?
a bunch of self-awareness, and I think that's one of the reasons why they act so offended when nobody picks them.
But then, like, okay, like, I mean, but like, do they think that they're tenacious? That they're like, okay, I've been turned down like 3 times by this person. I'm just gonna keep going for it until they change their mind, or like, I don't. That's the thing that I don't
Persistence
understand.
sometimes really doesn't work out. Yeah.
No, it really doesn't. So yeah, I don't even know how to deal with that, honestly. Like I've seen it happening more and more. And I'm just like, you just want to pull this person aside and be like, listen,
Knock it
like
off.
that,
And then they'll just
yeah,
ghost you forever. So don't worry about it. You can you
Yeah,
can.
like,
You can tell them.
that desperation is just like,
Gross.
bro,
Gross, bro.
it is gross. I
It
mean,
is.
It's not a
I'm
good
not
look on anybody.
no, and I'm
Mm.
not trying to pick on people, like, obviously, if you're doing that, you come from a wounded space, right? Obviously, whether
Mhm.
it's self-esteem or whatever the case may be, but it's like kicked up a notch. It's the most. How many times can you be rejected and still be like after it, after it?
Standing up for it.
What the
Mhm.
hell, man? I can't even speak to the pick
My head
me.
is
We
watering.
can't even speak to the pick me's and be like, yo, if you're a pick me, stop doing that, because I don't even know that they know. But listen, if you
No,
have
they wouldn't know.
okay, but if you're a friend, remember we were saying about authenticity? If you're a friend to somebody and you know your friend is a pick me, maybe you can get through to these people and just pull them aside and be like, I got to be real with you. You've been kicked around like 3 or 4 times by this person. They don't want you, and it's okay, because that means it's not for you, bro. It's not for you. Learn your lesson. Maybe go focus on yourself for a minute and heal yourself. And then you'll be led to the thing that actually is for you. Honestly, it makes me feel uncomfortable when I see it, because I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
Makes me feel so gross, like my eyes are literally watering at this.
yeah, but like, it doesn't make you feel like, maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just soft hearted like that, where I'm just like, I just feel bad. I'm just like, I don't know how many times somebody can be kicked around before they get it, but they don't seem to be phased.
Either they're into that kind of business or
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
I
how
don't
you would
know.
like getting kicked around
But
unless
okay,
you're,
let me ask a question though.
you
Like,
know.
okay,
It's an attention thing.
back in
Good
our
attention,
day,
bad is I feel like it's like a kid, that never they don't get enough attention from their parents, so they'll get any attention, good attention, bad attention, whatever, as long as it's
yeah.
attention. Like, that's what I feel like.
Yeah, but like we didn't, but we weren't out there being pick me's.
100%. No, no, bitch, because we were hiding. We were
We were
busy
like,
with
don't pick
ourselves.
me.
Like, we
We were
went the
the don't
opposite of
pick
pick me.
me's.
We went to don't pick me. Don't even look at me. Don't
Don't
ill.
pick me, because I gotta feel if you're safe, safe or not. So don't pick me.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, okay, back when we were growing up though, like, do you remember pick me's like this? Do you remember
No,
people like this? No, like that's
no.
what I'm saying. Like, this is something different, right? This is
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like it's not our generation. It's like maybe,
But also, these
it's
are people who were never told no before. These are people whose parents have coddled them and are probably like, you're the most smart and the most special at everything. No one can
yeah,
beat you or do better than you.
All
yeah,
the participation awards.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
yeah.
We didn't get them.
So
That's the, like,
I
because
always
they've never
joke,
been told they suck.
Yeah.
I don't want you. No,
You suck and I
you
don't want you.
suck.
beat it.
There are things
You
that,
came in
that do
second.
suck about you. There's stuff that sucks about all of us. So like join the club, right? And
Right.
that's called having a human experience. Like we're not great at everything. And not there's not a one size fits all, bro. Like that stuff is kind of tailored. So if that person is like, yeah, you're not the fit for me, then like, hey, there's another fit for you. Move
Yep.
on.
Bye.
Have
See
some
ya.
self-respect, because everybody's out here looking at you like you're doing the most, and it's just
Yep.
embarrassing. I always laugh. Yeah, because I get the, everybody's great and everybody participation stuff or whatever. Which I mean, I laugh at, because it's like, it's
Yeah.
not realistic, because you go into the real world and they're like, if you're coming in and you're looking for a participation trophy, you're looking for somebody to like pick you
Right.
for, whatever, and your job, your career.
Okay,
They're
Ricky
like,
Bobby. If you're not first, you're last.
Yup.
What?
well,
No.
so I always joke, like, if somebody says something about my kid, I'm like, yeah, she's mediocre at best, But I say it kind of jokingly. But I also like, listen, no, I think I'm a pretty good mom. Like, I praise her for the things that I know that she's really good at, but I'm also honest with her. And I'll be like, I was always a sports kid. Like, I grew up playing sports, and like, I thought my kid was going to kill it on the sports field, because I was really good. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to play all the things. Like, she's going to be a field hockey player. Maybe she'll play soccer. She'll play softball, whatever. And then I actually put like a ball in her hands or at her feet. And like, we did all the things. And I realized very quickly, like, nope, she does not have
She'll be a dancer.
that. Yeah, she's not coordinated like that. She is not interested. She could care less about team sports. Like, and
That's
so, like,
hilarious.
I had to have my heart broke, but, like, watching her experience that, I was like, "Yeah, so that's not your thing, so we're gonna figure out what is your thing." And then, when I was able to get her into dance and she started doing gymnastics, and now she's experienced music theater and she's starting to explore music and art forms. I'm like, "Okay, now we figured out your thing. You're an art kid, like,
Yep.
you're a dancer, maybe a musician. She's learning to play some things. She's learning how to sing, music theater. Like, okay, we found your thing. And she's exceptional at it. She's driven.
Yep.
It's like her heart space. But as her mom, I would be so embarrassed if she was out on a sports team, for instance, doing what I saw was like not it, right? And being like, you need to pick me, pick me, pick me. And it's like, no, no,
Yep.
I think as her mom, it's my job to help her have some self awareness. Hey, I'm not great at that, but I kill it over here. It's like, and
Mhm.
I'm happy all of her friends are sports kids, which is hilarious. When my house was full last night, they're all like soccer players, field hockey players, they're all the sports kids. So I'm like, okay, I get kind of my fix with them, but it's not my kid. And she'll just look at me like, oh, mom, like, seriously, mom. But I don't know, like, I don't know where this experience comes from, but it just I don't know, it's very cringy for me, when I see it, and I was like, I just, I wanted to bring it up because I'm like, I think that's some gutter monkey stuff because that's creating so much
100%.
wounding, it's like, it's okay, like, I don't know how many times you can be I mean, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, maybe it's like it's commendable that you can be rejected that many times and still be like,
No,
"Hey, I'm gonna keep
no,
sending it,
no,
sending it, send it,
no,
send it."
no, no, you have
Yeah, that's all the gutter monkey energy. I agree with you. Okay, so that's our gutter monkey this week because I'm like, I don't know where this came from, but like I didn't remember it. I mean, there would be some desperate people, I guess, just remembering, but like not like this. This is something else.
Yep.
Usually we knew like if somebody was like, yeah, not really feeling you or not really interested, you'd be like, okay, cool, I'm out. See ya. Your
Right,
loss, whatever,
right.
and have some self worth. But I don't know. Anyways, okay. Well, that's what we have today. I know this went a little bit long, but we hope that these messages, any number of them, resonated with you. If you are somebody who has experienced detached love, know that there is healing for you, that there is a way through it, and maybe listen back to some of the things that you can do. It's okay to feel the things that you feel. That's where you're going to experience the healing. Like I said, music was always really important for me. Maybe music will do it for you. Don't be afraid to make a playlist that'll get you in your feels because sometimes that's the way it starts. And if if you are a pick me, please, for the love of God, or you have
Stop
a
it,
friend
knock it
who is
off.
a or if you have a
Mm-mm,
if you have a friend who is a pick me,
mm-mm.
do them a solid. Start being that authentic friend and being like, "Hey, we need to have a
You will
conversation."
get picked
You
in
will.
time, just
You
not
will.
in the time that you want.
Or maybe by the person you want. You could
Yes.
have it in your head that's like, "This is my person. I don't care." And they are giving you all the signs that they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm not it for you." It's like,
Mhm.
okay, that might hurt you. Like, I get it. That might make you feel kinda crummy because maybe
You
you
got
had
to
your heart set
go.
on that person. But listen, move on. Like, say, like, "Yep, okay, I understand. You've shown me enough that, like, I'm not it for you. Hey, okay, like, I'll wish you the best. See ya," and then move
Yep.
on to the thing that really is for you because if it's for you, my god, that's going to be like amazing. It's like whether
Mhm.
it's friend or romance or whatever, it's like those people are for you. Let them flow to you, like, okay. And as divine feminines, I should say, like, we are divine feminines, we don't chase, we attract, right? So like if you're in the right energy, you will magnetize everything to you in the right timing for the right purposes. I guess the pick me thing rubs me so the wrong way because it's absolute opposite to anything that a divine healed feminine should look like. A divine healed feminine girl, she don't have to be out there in the pick me line. Let me just tell you. If anything, if she is vibing high and she becomes so magnetic, like she probably has a pick list of her own that she has to work through because that's the way it works. And so if you
Facts.
understand that concept, you can stop being a pick me and start being a healed, work on your healing, work on your vibration, work on your energy, start vibing like that. And then you will have a pick me list that you will start to be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's not for me," or whatever, then you'll have to be the one doing that, but you're not gonna be begging. Like, divine feminines, you don't chase, you don't beg for that, like, it will come, and you don't have to do anything about it. Like, you just gotta be you, love yourself, give to yourself, do your healing, don't be in the pick me line. That's where I'm gonna leave it. You guys got anything else?
No, our literally last earbud is dying, so we're out.
Okay. Until next time.